Okay. On March 22nd, 2010, under the leadership of the new President of the United States, Barack Obama, the American government passed the highly controversial health care bill. This is the new health care reform, also known as Obamacare. There were many that were outraged by the decision to have this incorporated into our government, and there were many that were really happy about it. They thought that it was a fantastic new day, a new step for America. I want today to just communicate to you what I did to try to figure out kind of about this thing. I mean, a lot of us were pretty confused about it and worried about it. You know, this is a really new thing that's come into our government, into our lives, and it's really going to affect us. So I figured that since I'm a young American, I've been voting for a couple of years, it's my duty to try and figure out as much as I can to try and kind of share with you the different facts I found out about it. So I just want to go over 3 different facts that I found on the pro-healthcare reform side and on the against healthcare reform side, okay? So the first one I want to talk about is 1. The healthcare, for those who agree with it, has become increasingly unaffordable for businesses and individuals. They believe this will help that in that regard. They also believe they can eliminate wasteful inefficiencies such as duplicate paperwork, claim approval, and insurance submissions. 3rd, patients with pre-existing conditions can still get health coverage. That is a big topic because there are so many times we know from family members or stories where you have this condition going into your coverage, and they think that because you had it before that they don't have to pay for it. So it's kind of cheap and kind of rude in that regard. You can kind of see where they would go with that. On the against side of the issue, there isn't a single government agency or division that runs efficiently. Do we really want an organization that developed the U.S. tax code handling something as complex as healthcare? Another example of that would be the post office. How many of us are really happy with the post office when we go there? 2nd, free healthcare isn't really free. Since we must pay for it with taxes, expenses for healthcare would have to be paid with higher taxes or spending cuts in other areas such as defense and education, which we don't want to do that. Healthcare equipment, drugs, services may end up being rationed by the government. In other words, your politics, your lifestyles of the patients, gender, race, orientation, and philosophical differences, for those in power, they can decide what they want to do with it. I mean, let's be honest, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you put that much power into somebody, they can do with it whatever they want. So we do have to be careful. We have to look at the ramifications that could come about with giving that much power to somebody. I mean, yeah, it's nice that we're helping people, that we don't have to worry as much about whether or not we're going to be able to pay for things, whether or not we're going to live through this, whether we're going to be able to pay for medications that can help us or our children. But you have to think about the people that are in power. You're not always going to have righteous people that are going to try to take care of you. You're going to have people that just want what's best for them and what's going to make them better off and make them happier. So, I'm not going to pretend like I know what's best for the country. I'm not in the president's shoes. I have a job myself. I don't have his responsibilities. But if you are elected, I think it's your job to do your best. This is your job. You asked for it. You were the one that went out there and made campaigns and ran ads and wanted to get into our government, wanted to try and lead us towards the best possible way of life. And I think that you have to do as much as you can. You have to sit there and read what you're putting forth to us. You have to take the time. This is your full-time job. This is your responsibility. I put you in office, or other people put you in office, because they want you to do a good job. This is your job. This isn't my job. This is yours. I'm just here trying to put you there and just trying to make the best decisions I can make. So I really just want to tell you guys that, you're all young and, educated yourselves, but it's our responsibilities to go out there and figure out what we want to do. What we want in our country, what we mind in our government. I mean, do we really want someone who completely controls everything, or do we want to have the security of knowing that someone's going to be there if we get sick or if we get hurt? So you have to look at both those things. You really need to take the time. If you feel that this is something that you can look into. I mean, if you are for the healthcare reform, then it's fine. You look into it, you figure out what you want to say about it that you think is really good about it, you go out there and you do your thing. It's just your cause. I mean, it can just help you in what you think. If you think it's helping people, then that's fine. And if not, if you believe that this is really, really dangerous, then this could be really, really harmful to us in the future. I mean, if they can control one thing in your life, they can control all aspects of your life. I mean, this is your health we're talking about. These are people we're talking about. So it's really up to you and it's up to me to just inform ourselves and research ourselves in this regard. And I went to a couple of really good websites, such as your weekly doctor, your daily doctor, and then your daily wellness guide, and Balance Politics. That's what it was. So if you guys want, I can give you the link to it. It's a really, really cool website because they show both sides of the story, and I think that's really, really cool. You can see both sides of the story and formulate your own opinion based on that side of the story. So do you guys have any kind of questions? Here, Jerusalem, you can stop because we can make it a different tape. So go ahead and stop.